not further, let's just say, influence others to discrimination.
Yeah. I mean, the most egregious example that I will share is, when President Trump said, he kept referring to COVID as the China virus, and he called it Kung Flu from, the White House press room. We see that in our reports. Like one of the reports I was reading it recently, but it's from that time when President Trump made these remarks. And basically a woman says, yesterday President Trump said the China virus, and then today my daughter was bullied at school and called the COVID virus. So we do see that sort of direct link. And it's not just the president, though. It's, the president obviously has the biggest mic in the country, but many other politicians have a bully pulpit as well. So what they say matters, and we certainly feel the need to hold them accountable for the language that they use, and we hope others do as well.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
So I just want to quickly ask, what can I do in my local community or my school to help solve this issue?
So it depends a little bit on what you see. Are you seeing this sort of hate at school, in your community? Are you seeing microaggressions? What is the nature of the extent to what you see in your community?
I think just generally how to spread more awareness on this and make people understand it better.
So you can share stories. You can, unfortunately, there is often an incident in the news media, but you can highlight it to show people that, hey, this is a problem and we see it. We're seeing it in real time. Most often the incidents in the media are the most egregious ones. They're usually violent. But it's important to let people know that, something as almost simple or silly as the language that people use or the gestures. We get a lot of reports of people, using their fingers to stretch their eyes because they're sort of trying to mimic Asian eyes in a way. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. And so if you see something like that at school, say something. Let an administrator know, let a counselor know, let them know that this stuff is happening and that they should say something, right? It's not just you guys, but you need to make others aware that it is happening if you see it, and let the authority figures at your school come out and say, this is not okay. We need to treat people with kindness and dignity and respect. And there's no place for this, be it in school or in your local community center. It's really important to sort of call it out, but to call it out in a way where you are safe while doing it, right? So you don't have to call out that person right then and there, but raise awareness, let other people know that something has happened and that it's not okay. And make allies, right? Tell your peers, raise awareness with those who are not AAPI, right? The AAPI community is obviously quite diverse, so let others know, so that other ethnic groups know what is happening to one or the other, but also let non-AAPIs know, right? Say, hey, this thing happened to my colleague, or my friend, my peer, is not okay, and stand up and say something about it, do something about it. Let people know, definitely let administrators and teachers know at your school. Hannah has another question. Do you guys help provide guidance to AAPI citizens who are constantly harassed? What do you mean when you say constantly harassed, Hannah? Can you elaborate on that a little more?
I guess people who are kind of discriminated in their workplace or where they get an education.
So workplaces and education situations are interesting because, so for example, education situations are often guided by state and federal policy. They are restricted by civil rights policy. They have to follow those laws and guidelines. And it can be difficult and stressful when you're in a position where you have been regularly harassed, but those are resources, those are tools. And it may take a little while to figure out which is the right lever, but schools in particular can be held accountable, whether it's an elementary school or a college. But if they receive any government funding, they have to adhere to the law. And so schools can be held accountable in ways that other environments cannot be. Workplaces are similar in that they are also under the auspices of federal laws. They have to adhere and respect the civil rights laws of the country. And so it can again be a little bit difficult when you're on the receiving end of that sort of discrimination to figure out which resources to go to. But often we tell people to reach out to local community groups that are working in this space. So for example, here in LA, there are several legal organizations that work on these issues. And we would refer someone to one of those legal organizations to find out more, to get more information. And in some cases, you know, everybody sort of sees things from their perspective and has a little bit of a difference of opinion. In some cases, we'll find that it's not a situation that can be addressed through legal means. But if it is a clear case of discrimination or bias based on a protected class, there may be legal recourses. And so we encourage people to look for resources within their local community that can help.
Awesome. So any last questions you guys can put in the chat? Otherwise, Kiran, thank you so much. This presentation was so informative, and we'll be sure to send the recording to the rest of the ally members so they can also hear the presentation as well. Sabrina, any other remarks that you might have?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that when Kiran was talking about, making this a relevant issue to everyone, not only individuals who need to feel supported as members of the AAPI community, but individuals outside who can support us. The name that Kiran used, allies, that's kind of why we had our acronym here, Ally, Asian Youth Liberty League. We are hoping to reach more than just the AAPI community. And what we are really grateful for is the amount of individuals who are invested in advocacy today. And we're excited to see that number grow through organizations like yours, Kiran, and also through student-run nonprofits like ours. And hopefully we can expand that reach together. And so we are, again, super thankful for you to come and speak to all of us. Hundreds of our members are going to be able to see this recording, so we're really grateful for that. And for those of you who are online now, I wanted to throw out a little reminder that applications for the board next year are going to be opening up. So to make sure that you are subscribed and will get the application email, just make sure that you fill out this form so that you are on our email list, and we will let you know if you're interested in applying for any of our positions that are opening next year. We are going to be super excited to hear why you want to join Ally and keep supporting the causes that we have thus far. So yeah, thank you so much. Kiran, do you have any last words you would like to share with our community?
I just wanted to say, one, thank you for having me here today. I appreciate that you guys spent part of your Sunday evening listening to me talk about these somewhat difficult issues. And two, I would just really encourage you guys to keep up your advocacy and your collaboration. I know you guys have your group in the San Gabriel Valley, but there are also other chapters in California, and you guys are starting to grow in different states, which I think is just really impressive. And so I encourage you to keep it up and to use your voice, because it is a very powerful thing when you do use it. So I wish you all well, and good luck to all of you as you go about your advocacy work.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
great evening.
Bye.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All
Karen,
right.
thank you
I
so
think
much.
you
We
can
really
stop.
appreciate it.
Sure, no problem. Do you want to stop recording?